Hi. There's a couple of things that are all crossing together right now. First of all, Apex Legends. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. I've made videos on it, and I will continue to make more about it. Additionally, I'm interested in the new and upcoming things that are happening in the video game industry. It's really interesting to see how consumers are playing games and how companies are adapting to that. So it's been fascinating to see Apex Legends, which is dedicated to being a high-skill, truly competitive multiplayer online game, suddenly switched to mobile, which is arguably a lot more of a casual space. If you follow Apex community at all, then you know of the Gaming Merchant, and he's made a whole YouTube channel dedicated to Apex Legends Mobile because he believes that it will be really powerful. He's made some points in his videos about how most of the world is starting to have access to smartphones, but not everyone has access to gaming PCs and consoles. And so Respawn creating a mobile version of their game is actually a really good way to get their fun, competitive game out to larger audiences and, of course, make more money, but also let us all have more fun. And I think there's some viability to this, especially in light of what I believe to be the failure of trying to put Apex Legends Mobile on the Switch. Now, the Switch was supposed to be the mobile version, right? I was going out of town a few weeks ago, and I was excited to bring Apex with me. And when I booted it up on my Switch, it just looked absolutely abysmal. The whole game is built on this stronger, more powerful hardware of consoles and PCs, and streamlining it for the Switch just absolutely destroys it. The visuals look so muddy and muggy and out of focus that it's difficult to even do anything in the game at all and feel like you have any control. Point is, Apex is really frustrating to play on the Switch. But I still love Apex, and I'm borderline addicted at this point, and I would love to be able to play it on the go. So even for me, who plays regularly on the PC and the console, having a version of the game that is streamlined and adapted correctly to a portable device is really intriguing. Again, not to mention there are large portions of countries and people who may not have access to the more expensive gaming options, and they play on their phone. And I would love for them to be able to enjoy the game that I love so much. So why not, I guess? So I hopped on like an hour or two ago. For some reason, it was a little difficult to find. It doesn't show up in App Store searches still as of the time of this recording. Hopefully that changes. So I had to look it up on Google and then follow the link to the App Store from there. Also, there's definitely some big bugs. Technically, a controller works, but they have an option to say that you can remap your controls, but it just completely unresponsive. I tried to change my controls for like 15 minutes and it wouldn't work. There's a lot of bugs that will hopefully be fixed by the time I finally release this video, but who knows. Now, I don't have a lot of experience with mobile shooters, and I don't like the idea of a touchscreen, so I've been fighting a little bit, but I'm going to play a game or two, continue to talk about my thoughts about the game, hopefully not get too angry at the touchscreen controls. Let's play a match. There's some really interesting mobile furch. I get all confused when I'm talking with headphones in and I can't hear myself completely. There's some really interesting mobile first options and settings that they've made in this game that aren't in the PC, like automatically picking up stuff when you go up to a death box. We'll talk through some of that. It's fun to play it on mobile. I am glad that I'll be able to do that. You know, I'm driving in the car with some friends and I can just pull this out and play a match or two. I think that's one of the most exciting parts of this. I would say, I mean, we'll play it another match before I say anything. I'll give some more thoughts at the end. Like, this is the first big change, is seeing all of the names of the different POIs on the map. Like, what an interesting decision. Oh, okay, now I have to focus. Okay, he automatically picks up stuff, which I'm still used to. He automatically picks up stuff, which is so weird. He automatically opens bins, which is also super weird. Give me this shield. Now, if I go near this thing, is it going to automatically pick it up? Nope. Okay. You can do that little lock thing. Jeez, this is... I'm used to looking at myself when I'm recording, and I just can't. I have to focus. I have to focus on the game now. Why is our teammate so far away already? Jeez. Okay, teammate, I'm coming. It's hard. It's just So small. Ah, Jesus Christ. I shouldn't be swearing on a YouTube video like that. It's... Ugh!
Care package being delivered.
Recharging my shields.
Shotgun bolt here. Level.
Oh look, someone wandered into our safe space.
Reloading.
Contact.
Reloading. Battling the enemy. Reloading.
Oh my gosh!
Oh look, someone wandered into our safe space.
Smoke out.
Jeez. That shouldn't have been so hard. It's so stressful because I don't feel like I have control like I do in the regular game. Bad guy, bad guy. I keep forgetting that I have this.
Scanning the area. Contact. Opening the enemy. Reloading.
Contact.
Scanning the area.
Ultimate's ready to go.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Charging shields. Come on, come on.
Firing. Reloading. Contact.
There is another squad. They are attacking.
Throwing jump pad.
Recharging my shield.
Oh look, someone wandered into our safe space.
Check your sectors. Another squad is incoming.
Reloading.
Contact.
Shoot!
Reloading.
Reloading.
Move!
Oh look, someone wandered into.
Contact.
I'm going in.
Where did that Pathfinder go?
Downed one.
I am Kill Leader, a humble servant of the gods.
Reloading.
When I call upon nature's strength, I move swiftly.
Where are those shots coming from?
Another squad is incoming.
Scanning the area.
Reloading.
I'm going in.
Contact. Found a hostile on Scotty.
Contact. Reloading.
Where are those shots coming from?
Reloading. Reloading. It's go time. Another squad is attacking us. Oh look, someone wandered into our safe space. I'm going in. It's go time.
Fire.
Contact.
Shotgun down. Get some.
Reloading.
Ultimate's ready to go.
Talk to the last one. Get some.
Oh, the auto.
Extended light mag here. Level 4. Shield battery here. Recharging my shields.
Okay, I'm dead. Okay, I'm dead. Okay, I'm dead.
Recharging my shields.
It's go time. Another squad is attacking us.
Reloading.
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 Scanning the area.
Firing.
Okay, 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 okay.
It's go time.
Contact. My ultimate is ready. The hunt begins. Reloading.
No, she's won!
Reloading.
Fire down.
Battling the enemy. Contact. Reloading. Recharging my shields.
Fire and kill leader.
It's go time.
Scanning the area.
Shotgun bolt here. Level 3.
Trails linger. They lead cemented here. Contact.
Find other sectors. Another squad is
Scanning the area. Medkit here. Recharging my shields. Scanning the area.
Shield battery here. Reloading.
Let's go. It's ready to go.
Recharging my shields.
These are mostly bots, right? Like, there's no way that I'm like, I've only survived because my opponents made a lot of big mistakes. Like, I know for sure that I should have died several times in the middle of that fight. But I mean, then again, I had the high ground and the cover, and those other players kept going out in the open. But I guess that's the point, right? Is those other players kept going out in the open, and I didn't. So it has to be that I'm fighting mostly bots right now. Maybe it's one kind of bot, maybe it's another kind of bot, right? Like, maybe it's actual programmed AI with no player behind it, or maybe it's just players who don't know what they're doing and are way worse than me.
Let's go this way.
Because that's sometimes what people mean when they say bots. But either way.
Scanning the area. There is another squad. They are attacking.
Where?
Check your sectors. Another squad is incoming. Reloading. Tango down.
Battling the enemy.
Like now, I'm dead.
Firing.
Another
Shoot!
I'm going in.
Recharging my shields. Scanning the area.
Reloading.
Alternates ready to go.
Reloading.
Firing.
Reloading. Reloading.
There is another squad. They are attacking.
Oh look, someone wandered into our safe space.
Smoke out.
The All-Father blesses me with sons of enemies.
Reloading.
I'm going in.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. I can't figure out what's happening.
Get some.
Battling the enemy. Contact. Reloading.
Firing.
New movement in progress.
Reloading.
Extended heavy mag here. Level 3.
And that makes place.
Care package being delivered.
Firing.
My ultimate is ready. The hunt begins. Reloading.
Firing.
Battling the enemy.
Replicator being delivered.
Battling the enemy.
Firing. Extended heavy mag here. Level 3.
Scanning the area.
Medkit here. Reloading.
Battling the enemy.
Yeah, see, that had to have been a bot. He ran straight towards me, didn't even try to shoot. Like, that, like, what?
Eyes on charts. We're outside the next
What is
ring.
that, you know?
Firing.
Like, this guy still has white shields. Like, what?
Reloading.
Reload. Check your sectors. Another squad is incoming. Give me a sec.
Arc star sent. Scanning the area.
Like, they're just standing there, man. It has to be bots, and not just, like, bad player bots. It has to be AI. There's no other way. I don't get, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I guess we're all having a hard time, right? I have 12 kills? I've never had 12 kills in the entire time that I've played Apex Legends console and PC. Not once. This is probably my highest, damage game ever as well.
See all. Scanning the area.
Care package being delivered. being delivered.
Reloading.
Another hostile on Scotty.
Reloading.
Recharging my shields.
Taking a knee. Patching up.
Okay. There's no way, man. There's no way. 14 kills, 2,700 damage. A few theories, right? Theory number one, there's not a lot of people playing it yet. Just launched. That doesn't necessarily make sense, though, because they had, what, like 15 million pre-saves or something? So there's a lot of people playing the game. I think. Theory number two, in your first few games, they put you mostly against actual AI that aren't even programmed to be very aggressive. Definitely a possibility. Also, it's skill-based matchmaking, and they don't know how good I am, so even if I'm playing against real players, many of those players could be 5-year-olds who stole their parents' phone and downloaded a game that they didn't even necessarily mean to download. That's definitely a possibility as well. Nevertheless, wow. It feels really good to get that many kills, even if it is against 5-year-olds. I bet that would happen sometimes for me. Okay, so first thoughts and impressions. It is good enough at what it does. When you consider it on its own as a mobile shooter, it's good. It's probably actually one of the better ones out there. It has a lot of interesting gameplay. It has a lot of interesting characters. It has cool movement. It is basically everything that Apex Legends is, but on a phone. Big surprise. But of course, it's incredibly difficult to not compare it to its bigger game, right? And I would definitely say that it's the inferior game, but like what else were we expecting, right? Apex Legends is built for consoles and PC with hefty hardware and controllers, and Apex Legends mainline just feels smoother, feels more in control, feels more tightly built. Apex Legends Mobile is kind of slippery in a bad way. It's kind of chaotic in a bad way. You don't feel like you're quite in control. You don't feel like you quite understand what's going on. Now, part of that is definitely user skill and user error. If I spent more time with this game, I'll probably become more familiar, more in control, and understand how Apex Mobile plays differently to the mainline title. Part of the problem definitely is me being used to Apex and then going into Apex Legends Mobile and thinking it's the same game, which it's absolutely not. So if you don't have a PC or a console, or if you're in a situation where you can't access those things, this is absolutely a great option. I think it's really enjoyable, actually. I'll probably find myself playing it fairly often, and we'll see how the controls improve, and we'll see how I feel about it in a little while. So there's a few things that would be really fun to have in the PC version. Auto looting, I didn't really have to think about my loot nearly as much as I do in the PC game. You know, I didn't have to go in and manually select everything. I ran up to a death box and automatically refilled my ammo and gave me a good, reasonable amount of cells and bats and medkits and syringes and like everything that I needed, the ways that most people normally build their inventory is kind of what it automatically did. So you still have those dynamics, but it's not affecting your gameplay as much. You're more free to just run around and shoot people, and that way it's really fun. And that's a skill in PC and console. You have to get really good at looting, whereas in this one it happens automatically, which is kind of fun. I'm interested to see what happens when the game realizes that I'm a little bit better than a first-time noob and starts pairing me with some slightly more skilled players. I can't see myself doing complex movement and really precise inputs like I do on the PC version of the game on the mobile game. Not only is it touchscreen and therefore there's no tactile buttons, and so it's already literally more slippery than a controller, but the movement system itself feels more slippery. It feels more loose. It like I'm not exactly sure when my input is going to be received. I have pretty good internet here, so I can't imagine that it was like a bad ping or something, but that's possible as well. I mean, I've played 2 matches. Okay? It's not like I know exactly what I'm talking about here. These are first impressions. I don't think it's going to replace Apex PC and console for me. I think that there's just more control. It's a bigger screen, better graphics, much more control, much more fluidity. It feels more reliable. Overall, cool game. Video game industry is weird. Big competitive shooters going onto mobile platforms. More people get to play Apex. I'm happy.